mate? Cheers. It always does this, man. Frickin' Miller in the bottle on the first sip. It's gotta be the shape of the bottle or something. No other beer does that, just Miller. It's alright though, I love you. A few thoughts on the subprime lending crisis, which has played a major contributing factor to the downfall and takeover of Bear Stearns by J.P. Morgan, Chase and Company, all-star stock market manipulators since there's been a stock market. These people know what they're doing, believe me. What if the rich people, not just, I ain't talking about pro athletes, movie stars, rock stars, and their punk-ass bitch sons and daughters, and I'm not talking about best-selling authors, Golden Slacks, you know, Goldman Sachs, PIMCO, the central banks, the people who've got the gold bricks stacked up and piled up, and we've got all these mortgages bundled up, and with which monies they invest and loan and theoretically should get paid back with interest to the people that own millions, if not billions, of shares of mutual funds and hedge funds, etc., and the like. The, rich. What if all this discussion about a so-called lending crisis is simply giving these class of people a chance to get out of the market slowly but surely and with subtlety, calmly headed towards the emergency exit without starting a panic and a riot, so they can walk away Atlas Shrugged style and then leave the rest of the poor saps who have decided to stop paying their mortgage because Uncle Sam has agreed to bail them out, leave them all behind to drown in the vomit which is their own debt. Because the amount of money by which the average Joe six-pack is buckling underneath the weight of is negligible. It's minuscule. It's molecular compared, relatively speaking, in the mind of the very rich, powerful, influential holders of everybody else's papers. So they can save 50 or 100 million or $1 billion or $2 by hurrying and getting their money back by getting out of the stock market, selling their stock to you, as Jim Cramer would say, sold to you. Why should anybody care if you lose your little $190,000 house that you really should not have signed up to buy in the first place? Who cares if your car gets repossessed because you can't make a payment? Because really, you're only losing $7,500 or $15,000 or $30,000 or the partial price of whatever the hell you're driving that looks real nice and new and shiny, but you really can't afford it. You just like impressing people. You just had to have it so your friends and neighbors would just shit their pants when you drove by. Vanity, vanity, all is vanity. Ecclesiastes, the Old Testament. There is no new thing under the sun. You'll just lose your money, your house, your car, and you'll just keep on working your silly little job as a cashier at Discount Dollar Pallet, or running a press machine, drill bit operator, lathe, duct extruder that makes wall outlets, and you'll enough to buy another car or another house. Just ride a bike to work for a couple of months. Who cares about that? You can almost see the point. You can almost kind of understand where Richie Riches is coming from. Because they financed all your stupid little American dreams that you fucking decided was a nightmare. And so, of course, Richie Rich's $100 million investment into your stupid American dream is what kept you all afloat in the first place and got you going. And then you didn't keep it floating, man. So maybe Richie Rich knows something you don't because he's more educated and experienced. Because he was taught the value of education and the importance of learning. And because of that, he's more closely connected. So Richie Rich decided it wasn't looking good. Y'all were too busy freaking out, so he decided he wanted his money back, man. And then those a little farther from the loop, get close enough to notice the pattern because they see what the others are doing, and who also got a feel for it because they learned the hard way. They've lost a lot of money, and they didn't cry. They just made it back. They can smell the coffee, and they can smell the body burning, and they know what lies beyond the next hill. And they decide, oh shit, man, I gotta get back my $20 million before it turns into $10 million. And this effect mushrooms and spreads out from there, see. From the central bank to the people that's invested in the central bank, to the people that's invested in those people, to their investors, to some mortgage company, until they're all cleared out, and you little guys who were no help at all, you people who owe a few thousand or a few 10,000 or a few 100,000 even, who don't feel like paying it back. So you lose a house here and there and a car here and there, and basically the economy stays stable. Got to weed out the weaklings and cut out the dead wood. I can see where the rich and powerful and influential can say there's nothing else that can be done about it. Really. Think about it. If Richie Rich goes down, billions will be lost. And that includes hundreds and maybe thousands or even millions of people's accounts on home loans and such. $1 trillion could be lost. So it's better to let lots of the little guys who aren't really helping anybody, not even themselves, because they're not meeting their responsibilities, which they promised to do. That's why you better get yourself out of debt. If you don't want to be affected by this tsunami, this monetary riptide, where the value of cash might be washed out from under you, and you will be dragged from an unmanageable, waist-deep, swampy quagmire of debt. And who knows what could spark this? Could be the war. You know, the jihad spreads first to Europe. Something scary going on in China, or India, or Africa, or the Arab world. Life as we know it today is not going to be like this for long. I'm warning you. It's going to change drastically pretty soon. Wake the hell up. You better look out for yourself instead of crying and trying to place blame. You better get your shit in one bag, and you better tool up. Get all your ducks in a row now, man.